Hello and welcome to the WP Inventory Manager tutorial video.
In this video, we'll be covering the core WP Inventory Manager plugin. We'll go over how to initially configure the plugin, how to add inventory items, set up your display settings, display your inventory on the front end of your website, and then see what your users will see. So let's jump right into it. Likely the first page you'll see is the status page, which is an overview of the current state of your inventory. You can see how many items are in your inventory. Right now we just currently have the default inventory items, as well as how your reservation system is configured. After you first install, you'll be prompted to enter your license key, which you can do either from the WordPress notification or the notification on the status page. This will take us down to the settings page where license key is the first tab. And you would simply enter it here, validate license, and save your settings. This entire settings section allows you to fine-tune your inventory to meet your exact needs. You can find a detailed breakdown of all the settings in the WP Inventory user documentation on our website. But for the sake of this video, we'll quickly look at the reserve settings, which we saw on the status page, where you'll be able to configure whether visitors can reserve items from your inventory or not. And if they can, you can configure your settings regarding quantity, notifications, messages, as well as completely customize the form here in the form settings. WP Inventory's settings come optimized by default, but of course you can change them if needed. Outside of these more logistical settings, you'll also want to be sure to edit your display settings, which can be found over on the left-hand menu. Over on the left here, you can see a list of all of the available fields of WP Inventory Manager, and you can choose which fields you'd like to display in different situations. Listing is what's displayed on the front end, which is an entire list of all of the inventory items. Detail is when you click into a specific item and get more in-depth information on the item. Admin, we'll see in just a few moments, is what's displayed to you in the back end of your website. And search results is what appears when a user searches your website and an inventory item comes up in the results. Like the more logistical settings, these settings are already set up for us by default, but it's easy to simply drag and drop items into or out of each section. Just be sure to hit Save Settings whenever you do. With our display settings configured, we're now ready to start adding inventory items. The first step is to set up our appropriate categories. Over here on the left, this is where you would set up the broad classifications for your inventory items. With the default items come just laptops and tablets, but since we are a musical marketplace, we could add categories for guitars, drums, microphones. You'll be able to add more description for your own internal use, as well as determine the sort order, so you can put the most common categories up at the top of the selection list. Once your categories are set up to your liking, we can head up to inventory items themselves, and we'll see again the default items. And then here you can see the fields that correlate to the display settings that we set up earlier, as well as actions for editing, deleting, or duplicating items for ease of use. And we'll go through the process of adding an inventory item. For instance, if we wanted to add just a Fender guitar, we could add a number for our own internal use, give it a name. The slug is the URL that will be given to it. We can just leave it blank and WP Inventory will create one by default. We can choose whether it's active or inactive, select our category, give it a description, a size, which we can go into later and change to more suit our needs. Manufacturer, make, model, year, serial number, if we want to go more in-depth, FOB, quantity, how many are currently reserved, if any, the price, as well as add any images or other media and give the specific item a sort order. And when we're done, we'll save and we'll be put back to our admin page where we'll see our new item and simply click on any of the links and be able to go in and edit it at any time. Now that we have our own items, we can go ahead and delete the default ones since we don't need them anymore. And you may have noticed while we were adding, in the size field, we put 6 string. So size doesn't really fit that definition. So we can head to our label settings, and if we click Edit Labels over here, we'll be able to change it. We'll see size down here, which we can change to be strings for guitars. Some fields are always on, but most you can also turn completely off. For example, if we have a wide variety of items, such as the 100 guitars that we entered, we may not want to use the serial number, so we could turn that off. Be sure to hit Save Labels when you're done. And now if we head back to our inventory items, back into the guitar, we'll see that our size has been changed to strings, and that serial number is nowhere to be found in the list. There's no limit on the number of items you can add, so feel free to add as many as you need. And once your inventory is set up, we'll be ready to display it on the front end of our website. We do that through a simple shortcode, which we can insert onto any page or post. So if we head over to our pages, we've already created a page for our inventory, but feel free to add it to your home page or any other page that suits your needs. And on that page, all you need to add is the simple WP inventory shortcode. There are some other options for customizing this and displaying only certain sections of the inventory. And if you're interested in that, feel free to check the user documentation on our website for more information. But with this shortcode, we can go and view our page, and we'll see the display settings that line up with our listing display settings that we set earlier, as well as an option to search for inventory items for our users. And if we click into the item, we'll see a layout for the more in-depth details on this item, again set in the display settings under the detail section, as well as a reservation form if we wanted to reserve the item. Of course, your inventory and all that we've seen can be fine-tuned and customized within the plugin settings, but after this, you should be ready to go displaying inventory items and allowing your users to reserve them. Thank you for watching this WP inventory tutorial video. If you have any questions, we encourage you to visit the tutorials and documentation on the WP Inventory website, or you can reach out to us on the Support tab in your WordPress dashboard. Thank you.